Welcome to Chasing Impact, Not Sales, where heart meets hustle, strategy meets service, and selling feels good again. I'm your host, Mandy Minatello. Let's go. Hey, welcome back to Chasing Impact, Not Sales. I am so excited to have a guest to bring to you today. Jack Siney is joining me today, and he has such a wealth of knowledge to share, not only about the leadership mindset, the mindset of an entrepreneur, but also where in the world this AI is going and the impact, to use my favorite word, that can have on business, on sales, on your teams, and all of that. And he has a very interesting perspective. So I am excited to introduce you to Jack and to kind of just have a chat. We were talking before I pressed record, and I was like, okay, I need to press record because this is what we need to talk about, on the podcast, because you all need to hear this because it's an interesting perspective in the world of AI. The more people I talk to, the more people I'm hearing, oh my gosh, AI is coming for our jobs. And it's, the CEOs are saying, I'm going to lay everybody off. The teams are saying, I'm going to get laid off. And that's just not necessarily where we see things going. So welcome, Jack. Thank you so much for joining me. And first, I want you to share, because you have seven-time entrepreneur, kind of give us the Sparks Notes version of where you've been, your rise to leadership, and then we'll get into your moonshot that we're talking about.
Oh, so funny. Thanks, Manny. Thanks for having me. By the way, for your audience, sometimes you meet people when you bond with right away. So Manny and I just met a little while ago and have a lot of cross-sectional. So this should be an entertaining conversation.
So fun. We're going to have some fun.
If our pre-conversation is any indication. So appreciate the opportunity. I quickly, without boring people to tears, started my career on the U.S. Navy as a civilian, and then PricewaterhouseCoopers, so two of the largest organizations in the world. The thing I got from that is I never want to work for a big organization again for a myriad of reasons. And so became at this point, serial entrepreneur, knowing that I wanted to change things and make things happen. And I've had some retail franchise type businesses in our family. And I've had four software, if I count my current one, real venture-backed software entities, one in the public safety space, one in the GovTech space, one in the dot-com era that went down in flames with the dot-com world, and a current one in the AI space. So that was as my career has grown, as the technology has grown, and so been blessed to have some fortunate outcomes with a little luck. And so in the AI space currently, like every single company, if you're a baking company, a car company, you go to every website, everyone has to be in AI. So
if you're not at least dabbling in AI, you either don't really have a business or you won't really have a business for
every
very long.
company, like whatever they do, if you go to, so we work with a myriad of companies, big, small, in every vertical, and every website has AI, whatever the most non-AI thing is. We make furniture. They're like, oh, we're going to AI your furniture. It's so funny. But,
it is quite funny. And what's interesting is being the parent of two teenagers. They have to ride this line that I almost feel so. I'll own it that I'm a proud exennial, right? So I remember going into college, having relatively no experience with the internet. And by the time 4 years later I graduated, I needed to be completely fluent. This is where our kids are with AI. They feel like they still need to hide it from their teachers that they're using it. But if they were to interview for a job, they better be fluent in it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is Exennial 2.0.
But it's such a challenge today. Talking to folks, we just have to remember we're in the early days. For those that lived through the dot-com craziness and the forthcoming of the internet, it's like we're so in the early days. Everything we're doing today is going to look so infantile, trivial 8 years from now, right? We are in the earliest days, and people get all worked up about, oh, I got to get on board. And it's just a matter of staying in tune, staying in touch. Don't follow the loop. But the things we're doing today, it's going to be like dial-up. For those, I'm dating myself, but AOL dial-up, when you had to connect, wait for the fax machine. that was the start of the internet. And that's how all this is going to look. All 10
Yeah.
years from now, they're going to be like, what were you doing with agents? And what's Claude? And you know what I mean? They're going to be like, what? So how we talk
Which
about
is
AOL. It's so
It's so
true,
funny
though.
because Claude as like a name, you envision someone who's like 95 years old
Yeah.
anyway. And that's going to be how we talk about it someday, probably
That's how
seeing
you look. You got to do
AOL.
everything today based on URL. Can I get the URL? That's where all the names you can have.
I
You
love
got.
it.
Can I get the URL? Can I get .com, .ai? So that's where all the names have to
Hilarious.
come from. So
Hilarious. Okay. So before we were recording, we were sort of talking about like when it comes to AI, and you have the mindset of either like I talked about the CEO who's like, I want to get rid of my humans because I can harness, AI and go further, faster, longer, and better, right? And then you've got the people who are the humans who are like, oh my gosh, I need to get my resume together
yep.
because AI is coming to make things longer, faster, harder, better, whatever.
Yeah.
And you have a different take on it, and I do too. That AI will amplify
Yeah.
what you have. It's not going to replace what you have necessarily.
Yeah.
So share what you were kind of starting to share with me about like
Yeah.
what you're seeing, because like you just shared, the reason I had you give the synopsis of your background is you've been there, done that in the tech space. You're not new to this.
Mm.
You didn't hop on the AI train this morning and decide like toot, here we go, I'm the
Yeah.
guru. Like you've watched this happen, you're riding it now, and have seen the hills and valleys
Sure.
of the
Yeah.
tech world. So your perspective really does mean something, and
No, I
I wanted you to
appreciate
share it.
that. Well, it's free. You know what they say? If it's free, it might be worth that. So I just, but I will.
Yes, everyone sign a waiver. Don't
Right.
sign don't write your business plan based on this,
Like
but it
finance
is
people, finance. This is not financial advice. Don't go invest in this stuff.
yes.
But yeah, I would say our perspective is unique because we get to deal with a lot of different companies and big and small and see what they're doing with AI and how it works. And so I think there's a couple of variables. To me, there's three variables that come to mind. We're almost going to be 100 years from the Great Depression. Is there going to be some upheaval over the next couple of years, kind of a 100-year mark from the Depression? I think there is. There's going to be AI is going to disrupt how we work, how we think about stuff, which is cool. I think that's cool. And it'll cause us to rethink how we do stuff. And Elon Musk says we're all going to have a robot in our house, and God bless, that just like we have a car. So
I think they
that's
did that
one.
in the 80s in one of the shows that I used to watch.
Yeah, I was going to say it's
Silver
all
Spoons
coming.
or something? Anyways, go ahead.
The Jetsons. Look, we're going to be getting in a thing, and they're going to make a turkey when it just flies up. So that's
Love it.
one. I think the second variable is, which is to me the one that's hardest to account for, which is we've seen recently that in the old days, when a public company fired, they did a RIF, a mass firing, they would take a hit. The market would be like, oh, these executives, they don't know what they're doing. They just had to lay off all their staff, and the stock price would go down. The management team would be almost undermined. But today, as we've all seen the last 6 months, the market's actually rewarding these layoffs. So that's a wild card of CEOs. They're all lemmings, right? It's like public CEOs. Oh, look at that company. They just laid off 10% of their staff. Their stock went up 8%. My whole job is to make our stock go up. Should we do that? So I assume in every boardroom around America, there's this conversation. Again, it's a very, very different dynamic than what it was when I was growing up, which was, again, if you did a big riff, you're a bunch of knuckleheads, you overhired. That's clearly not the case what the public markets are saying today. So to me, that's the middle variable is the hardest wild card. And then there's AI in the real world today. And following, I'm pretty adamant about. We deal with companies again of all sizes. On the tech side, what AI is doing is amazing. There's the efficiencies in coding, in making products, in delivering things. It's amazing. So I don't want to comment on that. I'm not a technologist. That's not my daily work. I can say for a fact on the business side, the AI thing. The easiest term I could say is not ready for prime time. I guess that would be fine.
Yeah.
It's good. Can AI help you write your emails? Can it? It's like an enhanced what is it? Spell check. Yes, it's amazing for that. Can it help do some marketing stuff? Can it help find clients? It can. It's amazing. But then when you start to be like, can I get rid of my sales team? Can I? The thing you always hear. Let me get rid of the SDR team and hire a bunch of agents. And you're like, really? And so I've not seen that work anywhere. If you look at the stats last year, all the studies, 600 American companies spent 650 million on AI last year. I think all the analysis over 80% of those were not promulgated throughout the company.
Mhm.
And the ROI was really challenging to find. And so I say that that's against, by the way, everything we see on social media. If you go on social media, everybody's automated. You scan through LinkedIn, you swear, like you just said, we're all about to get fired. We're
Yep.
going to go to some automated world in the next 2 years. And again, is it going to change? It is, but it is. We are in a real world sense far from that. And so we
Yeah.
can dig into some things companies really need to do to take advantage of AI. But folks are trying to just jump off a cliff, put AI in. I've not seen a company yet have dramatic any type of scalable results that are helping them close business, win, increase value. It's just not. It's just not in place yet for a variety of reasons that we should talk about. But just that today, that is 100% on early
Yeah.
first half of 2026. That is 100% what's happening. So
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. The companies that I see that are winning in the AI, like while embracing AI, are the ones that are seeing AI as wonderfully talented assistants, right? So
amen.
you have your top
Yep.
team, you have your executive team, and if each person knows how to utilize AI within their scope, their job description, their role, then yes, it's going to help like expedite things and get a lot of the background stuff that takes a human hours to do the research or whatever.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter if you're the CEO, the COO, the CFO, the CSO, the CMO, whatever, like AI can absolutely help you. I think
Yes.
of it, if I go way back when to my teaching days, and you had a student teacher, and you were like, they need to get experience so that they are going to someday do well at what I'm going to do or what I'm doing. And
Yeah.
so the really good student teachers, that's what AI can be, is that really good, super efficient,
Amen.
like assistant
Anything.
who doesn't ever break up with their boyfriend or have a bad night's sleep or, whatever. Like
So
you
true.
can't upset them either. Like my AI likes to try to gaslight me and I'm like, excuse me. Like
Hey.
you can't be rude to me. But like that the companies are winning, keep their people, but then give their people the tools to do their jobs exponentially well. And you brought
And
up
again,
SDR
it's the
teams.
analyst. It's the
Yeah.
AI is great today. By the way, 80% great. You still have to double check it.
Oh yeah.
Deloitte and Touche Deloitte had a client. They handed a report. This happened last year. It will hallucinate, made up stuff. So it's even what you get is 80% good. It's amazing. If you have nothing and you in the law field, in the law vertical, and you need to create a doc, AI is amazing. It'll
Right.
create stuff. It'll create marketing content. It'll create email. All that is amazing. It does all kind of. So the analyst world, I think you mentioned your kids. I think
Yeah.
in the future, the first job for young people is going to be really challenging because that's some of the jobs young people would get,
Entry level.
do right. That I think it's going to impact those folks. But again, my perspective is what are we doing corporately when you at an executive level, what are we doing to
Yes.
grow our company? How do we get to 3x, 5x, 10x? And that is really a challenge. There are really some foundational things companies need to do that are not exciting, and so they don't want to do them. I know I just want to do AI. I don't want to clean up my stuff. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So
Oh, a million percent. It's like you mentioned SDR, which is like my world, right? And everyone wants to just get rid of all their setters and just like whatever. But at the end of the day, it's the systems in place and the relationship, no like and trust factor that needs to be built.
yeah,
And that can go 80%, maybe, like you said, with AI. But at the end of the day, it's the 20% that's going to be amplified. And
yeah.
so, yeah, so that brings us to like where you are going now. And your business, I love that whether it's you or your marketing calls it a moonshot, because
Yeah,
you
so
have,
funny.
it's kind of like you're shooting for the moon in a world that is ever changing. Like
Amen. So challenging.
AI, like we said, like we're at the AOL part of AI, and
Amen.
you've got an
That's a
entire
good line.
business.
That's a good line.
You've got an entire business built around a system that you can't say, oh, I know everything about this because nobody
Yeah,
does. So
true.
tell
So
us
true.
kind of like what you're doing and what you alluded to. Like if you are a leader in business, what do you need to be doing?
Ah, such a great question. It's such a
Yeah.
great question. Yeah. So now to take one step back,
Yeah.
if you're when you listen to this, if you're a leader of a company, you humbly, you have to do the following two things before you jump into the AI world. Again, AI world. Everybody wants to like, can I get close? Can we put co-work into the thing? And what should we buy? It's like, listen, full stop. Don't do any of that. Or if you want to do it, whatever. Just if it's free, whatever. But you have to do these two things. They're not sexy. So listen, Larry Ellison a couple weeks ago came out and said all these LLMs, they're all looking at the same open data set. It's the same stuff available on the internet. So whatever one you prefer, who cares? Some are better at doing the joins and blah, blah, blah. But before you do that, the magic, as Larry said, is in your data. It's in your company data. And so again, dating myself, if you hear connect your data and normalize it, you think, oh my God, that's a 3-year effort. It's not in today's AI world. But before you jump into AI, you have to take your company data, connect it. Normally, it's in 2 or 3 different systems. You have to normalize it so an apple is an apple in your CRM, in your pipeline, and in your other sales enablement tools. So you have to get your data consolidated and normalize it. So clean it up because that's where all the magic is. You know what works. You've seen deals come, you've seen deals lost. The magic is in your data. That's not very sexy. People hear that, eyes roll back their head, but you got to consolidate, normalize your data. One.
Yep.
Two, we were talking about this before the show. And then you have to understand what your process flow is. So if you think AI is this magic tool for some process, you mentioned SDR or your sales process. Here's what
Mhm.
happens in every company we've dealt with, every company. Here's
I
what
know what's
happens.
coming, and this is
Right.
so true.
This is like you have a sales manual, a good-willed CRO, VP of sales, if that's you, director of sales. You have your process flow diagram. Here are our 22 boxes. Here how we product inc sell. We outreach and then we send an email and then we send a text and we schedule a call, then we do the demo, then FAQs, and we set a pricing. Everyone has one of those, the boxes, right? Decision, we got a diamond, that's a yes, no, right? We all have that.
Yeah.
Here's the problem. We all know this. We don't like to talk about it. Your best people, two things happen. One, they don't follow that flow. Your best people move it all around. Your top seller inverts it, starts, gets rid of half of it. So they're not even following that process normally, or if they do, it's convoluted. And then
Mhm.
secondly, it's not 22 steps. Your best people, it's normally another 27 steps. They're doing a bunch of things. They're sending, oh, you went to Michigan. They won the basketball championship. Oh, here's something that's relevant to you. They're building relationship. They're sharing learnings. When did they bring up competitors? When did they talk about pricing? They're doing all of these other things that are not in those boxes, right?
Mhm.
So if you don't have those other 22 steps that your best people are doing, then you go out and hire an AI agent. You're like, we're just going to put an agent. We're going to replace Bob and do an agent. Well, the agent's only going to do those 22 things you told it to do. Then after 3 months, you wonder why the agent stinks. It's not as good as Bob. Well, you only told it to do 22 of the 48 things that Bob was doing, and you wonder why the AI fails. And inevitably, that's what was happening last year. Inevitably, can the agents work? Can they automate stuff? They can, but if you don't tell it all the steps, it's gonna fail. It's so obvious at this point. So the level set,
Yeah.
you have to clean up, standardize your data, huge, and then understand your process flow. Until you do both those, just putting AI on top of a broken process or bad data is just going to result in you expediting bad stuff. So I'll get off my soapbox. That is real. That's real. What's happening?
Yes.
So then the connector, we at FrontRace strategically watching this happen over the last couple of years are trying to lean into that dynamic. And so without having a commercial about FrontRace, what we
Go
do for
ahead.
companies, we just put a layer on top of whatever you have today. So don't change anything. Whatever systems you have today, we put a little layer on top of it that does those two things. Connects all your data and standardizes it. That's what our team has expertise on. And we use AI and non-AI analytics. That's probably heresy now to say it's not AI, but so that to help you understand, here is your entire process. Not what you think it is, but here's what your best people are really doing at a micro level. Here's all their touch points. Here's how they sell. Here's how they close. But we've wondered for years, right? It's been this black hole of sales. Like we have
Mhm.
two reps, they have the same metrics, their pipeline looks the same, but Susan is outselling Mike 3x, right? And for
Mm-hmm.
decades, even though we have a huge tech stack now, we have no idea why. When the CEO or the board shows up, they're like, why is Susan crushing Mike? And you're like, I don't know. I don't know. Susan's just good at sales. She's a better closer. She just does a better demo. We don't know. And the reality is, I'll shut up, which is the difference between Susan and Mike are 20 little things. It's 20 little things that add up and make her great. And we haven't been able to measure those for years.
Yeah.
We haven't been able to measure those for years. We have this huge tech stack at a company. We're no better today, 40 years later, since we started putting CRMs and call analytics. And so we're no better today at forecasting and developing our team than we were 40 years ago. It's shocking. The number, you can go Google that or ChatGPT. It's true. We're no better today. In fact, ChatGPT will tell you it's worse. So
Right.
that's what we're trying to do at FrontRace is connect the dots, help you be successful, and know what your team's doing. And then once you know that, you can plug AI into it, but your AI tool is going to be different. The tool you want today, it's going to be very different than the tool 3 years from now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you want to have your foundational data set so you can plug any tool into it. As the tools keep getting better, you don't want to be committed to some system that's going to look very antiquated. AOL looks very, very antiquated today than it did when it first came out, right?
You know, it's hilarious. You bring, like, we've brought up AOL a few times. Like, so from a sales perspective, like, I teach people how to use different factors to pre-qualify. And one of the things is if their email that they submit to whatever is AOL,
I do the same thing. You get,
either they're using their
Yahoo.
old fake one because they're not taking you seriously, or they're that antiquated themselves. It just tells a lot. So that's just
subliminal red flag, right? That has to go in your AI agent too. We just got a Yahoo or AOL.com. You're like, we're dead. We're dead.
Oh, yeah. I feel the same way. My like junk email is Hotmail, and
there it is. Hotmail, you're done.
It's my maiden name. I've been married for 22 years. That should tell you if I give you that one, not really taking you seriously because I may not check it.
Look in the tech world, if you're selling tech and somebody sends you AOL, Hotmail, or Yahoo, you're not selling them tech. Come on.
Nope. That is hilarious. It's so funny. There's like the things. And the other thing that you brought up that's super interesting is like, so you said, there's Susan and there's Mike, and Susan has been outselling Mike forever, right? And you ask Susan, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? And she's like, I am not doing anything different. She's not lying either.
She doesn't know, right?
Literally, it's just who she is. And it's just the things that they do. Like people then like, okay, salespeople are money hungry. Salespeople are competitive. Salespeople. Some of this is true. I cannot. What do they say? Accept or deny that, right? Yeah. But she's not being a jerk. She's not trying to hide something. It's just that it's what they naturally do. So a system like what you're saying that sort of subliminally is measuring these things is kind of what you need.
It has to. Listen, you talk about in sports, Michael Jordan, the best ever, or whatever. Like
I agree with you. It's okay.
He couldn't teach, right? The best people. It's so instinctual. We've all done this. We've all brought our best person in. I've run big sales teams, 100 people. You bring me like, John, can you train the rest of the team? And that training session is normally not good. Like he'll say some things. You're like, I'm doing that. Like it's in all the nuances. And what's really challenging today is in the old days, you could say, go shadow John. Or if you hire a good person, so let's assume it's a good, high quality person. Normally in my world, I would say, go shadow my top 3 people. And from each of them, take 3 things. You know what I mean? Like you have to have your own style. So take 3 things from John, 3 things from Mary, 3 things from Susan, make it your own and be great. Well, now in COVID, you can't send somebody to somebody's living room. You're like, go sit at John's house. You can't. So now this next generation is like, how do I learn what your best 5 people are doing? Go listen to their calls. Really? It's not that. We all have this. It's the same setup, same demo, same FAQs. That's not where it's happening. If it was, public companies would hit goal every quarter. That's not it. And so it is shocking. Sometimes you almost have to yell at executives. You're like, that's not it. You can have the best tech stack in the world. Are you getting to goal every quarter? No. Why is that? Awkward silence all around. Like, we all know this. Some months you hit all your metrics on your Salesforce dashboard, all your metrics, and miss. Some months, you hit none of your metrics and you're 20% over. And then again, the board goes, hey, why did that happen? And then you start to make stuff up. Yeah, I don't know. We had a deal come through. It is shocking how we still don't know what's driving the process. And my hope and aspiration, what we've seen is that AI does start to shine a light on the black hole of sales. What are those 20 things that Susan's doing that makes her great? And can you name all of them? No, I don't think we're ever going to be able to do that. Hence why people will always be around. But can you start to measure some things that were unmeasurable before? Like, so to be very in the weeds, hey, what is the order she's doing things? Right?
Mhm.
And even more importantly, or as important, what's the gap between those things? Because it can look weird. We all know this on social media. You ever get somebody with a DM, somebody sends you a DM, then 10 minutes later they send you a sales pitch. You're like, oh, that's very aggressive. So it's what's done, it's the gap between it, it's measuring the quality of it. Again, in the process, when does she mention competitors? What does she say about them? When does she bring up pricing? Does she ever change her? Like all those tiny little things that historically have been unmeasurable, AI and some now technologies allow you to have some insights to that, which are amazing. And that starts to shed a light on how do we repeat greatness? And so that's quote unquote the moonshot of helping companies figure out what this black hole has been for 40 years.
I love it. I love it. So you kind of talked about the company that, you layer this information on top and you check these boxes of what people need to do in order to like best utilize AI. So
Yeah.
what are you seeing and who like of the people that you're working with, what
Yeah.
results are they getting?
Oh, so that's great. Really appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's such an interesting space and such an interesting world that two things happen with when we start to connect and normalize the data, and then the technology starts to map out what the real process is. By the way, the process to win, which
Mhm.
typically has some standard variables, and what is when you lose, what does that look like? Typically has some standard variables. And none of us purposely screw up a deal. But we see it all the time. Hey, here's what losses look like. You know what we do with losses? We bring up competitors too early. You know what we do? We price too high early and then try to back it down later. Like losing also has some attributes that a string that runs through it. Most companies are like, we lost the deal. Who cares? Throw it away. Let's keep moving.
Bad
And
lead
so,
quality. Yep.
right, it's not our fault.
It's
You
always
marketing,
always the lead quality. Yep.
it's always marketing's fault. And
Yep.
so we are able to, when we deliver, especially early on our first set of data, inevitably two things happen with every company. There's two or three things that are awesome. They need to repeat, and they didn't know how awesome they were. Hey, we need to, within 2 days after the demo, we need to send our company overview and give them preliminary pricing. Or, hey, right after that, we should send them a text and make sure all the decision makers have an update on who we are. Whatever those things are, right? Inevitably, there's two or three things that are shockingly everybody should do. As well, there's two or three things that are horrible, and the executive team goes, "We don't do that." I'm like,
Yeah, you do.
because it again, no one's perfect. We have a company that when they sent, this is shocking, when they sent a fifth text, I think it was some number, it was fifth or five or six, they lost every deal. Like soon as the fifth, they never won a deal once a rep sent a fifth text. So that was clearly some call avoidance, they lost contact. We all think, oh, it's such a great demo. How could they not buy? Right. Then they keep texting them, da, da, da. And so there's things like that that are so important. We're like, why do you keep doing that? Like what we should not do those things. Or hey, we shouldn't give pricing till here, this stage in the process. And so again, both categories are really, really interesting and have, by the way, humbly, I'll say the following, an enormous impact on the bottom line. One or two changes higher up in your funnel, again, have such an exponential impact at the bottom because it carries all the way through. If we all know this, if you increase 20% your top of funnel, the impact your bottom is way bigger because now you have a much bigger top line. It's amazing. And so throughout the process, if you're able to improve two or three things immensely and get rid of two or three things that are killing you, the impact on the bottom line is amazing. And that's how we price the product. We don't have a standard like per user or contract. We're like, hey, what we'll do is it'll be a percentage of in the increase we're going to have on what you do. And so it makes it really easy for folks to use it and test it and love it because and we put our money where our mouth is. So
Amazing. It's so good. It's so good. And it's interesting because in the space that I'm in, sales, and then
yeah,
I've really turned to this corner of really harnessing AI and trying to be a little bit ahead of the curve as far as like how is this going to affect sales professionals? How is it going
yeah.
to affect sales leaders? What do we need to grasp a hold of, and what is just fear mongering among the world and whatever? And
So all social media right now is fear.
yes,
Just turn it off. Go
thank you.
Facebook, friend, but don't, if you go leave, you go, sorry,
Yeah,
if you
no,
go
go
leave
ahead.
LinkedIn and X, you swear, by July, we're all fired. There's all going to be robots and we're doomed.
Yeah, we're all doomed. And that's where I'm like, okay, this podcast is my gift to the industry anyway. So let me go ahead and like try to quell fears. But at the same
Mm.
time, I'm not trying to be unrealistic, right? Like
Yeah.
you said it, entry level positions are likely
It's going
going
to be
to be
tough.
affected. My
Really tough.
children, I have a freshman in college and I have a sophomore in high school. Both of them, we've had real life conversations about you can't be anything you want to be anymore. You
Mm.
have to be anything you want to be that's also viable, that's also going to still be around in 4 years. And
We'll
that
go back. Look, we're
conversation
going
is
back.
different.
Plumber,
Yes,
electrician. They said they can't find all. We're going to go all the way back.
all the way
Plumber's
back.
plumber can
It's
be making
crazy.
200K. Yep.
It's crazy. I love my marketers, right? And my marketing friends, I absolutely adore you. 4 years ago, when my daughter was a freshman in high school, she was part of the marketing like club and all this stuff,
Yeah.
and she was totally going to go into marketing and all of this stuff.
Yep.
Fast forward, she's now a freshman um, at UF, and we'll just say she's not
I
a
know.
marketing major because I'm
Yeah.
afraid for her friends who in 4 years are going to need the entry level jobs. Now, my friends, our age group, the sages, right? Like they will have their jobs because they've raised to the
Yeah.
top of the ladder. But
By the way, I would
yeah,
echo that. Tech again. The
yeah,
tech world is going to be turned upside down. And even with our tech team, what AI can do in the tech world it's just thick, 10x. Again, I just want to be really clear. That is a real thing.
yeah.
In the sales business world, commercial world, I think it's really challenging. But I also agree in the marketing world. Imagine this.
Mhm.
Think about sales for decades. These are the numbers. Reach out to 100 people, 20
Mhm.
will connect with you, 10 will talk to you, you'll do a demo with 7, 3 will buy. Right? I
Right.
mean, whatever. So
I have
whatever
been
your numbers.
teaching that for years. It's a numbers game. It doesn't matter what you're
Right.
selling. Yes.
Right. But imagine now, so you just said AI, which this is going to happen.
Mhm.
You don't have to talk to 100. You only have to talk to 20 because they're vetted. You've done
Yep.
all the prelim with all the different sources of what are the indicators? And now you only have to talk to 20. And of the 20, 15 are interested. Like it's going to
It's
change
going to change it.
everything we do. Right. And so
Absolutely. Absolutely.
magic. Yep.
But what you just said is what I'm trying, calm down, people. When it comes down to it, if you're good at what you do, you're going to be needed. What you said, you are going to talk to 20 people. You as a human, you as someone who's creating relationship, you as someone who's responsible for like and trust, right?
Yep.
There's
Amen.
three things. There's
Relationship.
there's
Yep.
no like and trust. The no, K-N-O-W, AI. That's just what's happening. They're going to go out there, and then the like and trust has to come back to the
Relationship. Yeah.
business, the face of the business, the product of the business, the service of the business. That's the like, and then the trust is going to come down to humans and
Yep.
customer service, client service, sales. Like sales is just an extension of the customer service, the character of the business, and the
Amen.
character of the business is always going to be soul centered for those that are going to be moving forward.
Yeah, I
And
love the title of your podcast. Yep. Yep.
yeah, it's got to be there. So like, I think we're speaking the same language. And this is why I was so excited to have you on, is that AI is changing business. We haven't even scratched the surface of
No.
what it
Yeah.
is
Yeah. Amen.
capable of. So for people to say, you go out on social media again, it's like, A, you're going to lose your job unless you follow me because I know everything there is to know about AI.
No, listen, there
I
is
call
no AI
BS. No one can
expert.
do that.
There is no AI expert. No, there is
No,
no AI expert.
None. You can sit at the feet of Elon Musk and I don't even know who else. And like you don't they no one knows where this is
At
going and
all.
what the capabilities are.
Yeah.
So like if you're interested, ride it. You know,
Yeah.
stay on top of it, stay on top of your game, stay on top of your data and your numbers and continue to be a learner. Like always be in the growth mindset because we're not there, we haven't
Amen.
made it. You know, I laugh because my mom, who is very retired and very much in her 80s, said to me, no joke, like 2 weeks ago, Mandy, I don't even know what you do. I don't even want you to try to explain it to me because I was talking to my friends and we've all just decided that we're just not even going to try to learn AI because it we don't
Oh,
need to.
oh.
And to her credit, she probably doesn't.
I
But
just put ChatGPT on my mother-in-law's phone this
well,
past
right.
weekend.
Like at the same time, she's the one who
Yeah.
like is constantly on YouTube and whatever. I'm like, you are, whatever, mom. But like, unless you consider yourself like very retired and very much like not interested in, whatever, you have to embrace it for what
Amen.
it is. At least play with Chat GPT and Claude and
Well, two
you know,
things too I would share is one, the higher dollar value of what you're selling, the more secure your job. Because
yeah.
if you ever had a problem with Google or Facebook, you can't ever get a hold of them. You like you have a
Yes.
problem with your company account. Google, there's no one to call. And so at a company, if you're spending money on a system, you want to have a face, somebody to help you. Like you don't want to have an agent. Who'd you buy this from? The agent who's been turned off and now they're gone. And now you're like, well, I have this thing. So the higher dollar value of what you're selling, immense job security. And for me, for those folks that are just scratching the surface of AI, ChatGPT or Claude are amazing. The right way to think about it, it's you've been Googling for years, but imagine every time you Google, you have to click on all the links and kind of
Mm-hmm.
make your own conclusion. Right? The
Right.
right way to think about AI in the way I talk about it, the ChatGPT, it does that for you. Instead of running a query in Google, you're going to go to ChatGPT. It's going to synthesize all the stuff on it and give you an answer. Whether you agree with it or not, fine, but it'll have a position. Whereas today with Google, you got to click on got to get the best flight. I got to check three other things. It'll do all. It aggregates it all for you. It's once somebody does it once or twice, then it's like, oh yeah, my
I'm
mother-in-law
never
was like,
going
oh,
back.
I love that. Right, I love that. She had a cut. She was, what should I do? It was like do. It gives you all the things, and it never ends. Right? It always goes. You want more?
Yeah. If you want, what I love it when you're asking a business question too, because it's like the top people in the industry are doing this. Do you want
Right.
me to tell you? You're like,
Right.
yeah,
It always tells you how great you are for the most. That's a great idea, Mandy. You
you're
are
on the
right on the
right
right
track.
track. And it never, ever, I've never run into once. Any of this, they never end it. They never go, here's what you asked for. It always goes, it always gives you the dot, dot, dot. Do you want the top 5 reasons? Do you want more verbiage? Do you want to see how you turn this into a LinkedIn post? You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, no, I got it. I gotta go.
Yeah, you're like, I have a life outside
Thanks.
of
I
this.
gotta go now. Like, I'll be back.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I honestly feel like, okay, y'all behind the scenes, I did not know Jack before this morning. Like
Yeah.
we connected on social media. Again, silly plug for your network, right? Like create a network. Networks
Mm.
create net worths and create, business
Amen.
like connections that you never know where they'll take you. So all that to be said, I did not know Jack this morning. And I
Mandy and I have been
honestly,
crossing the country together for the last
yeah,
20 years. We've been
we didn't know
same
it.
same
We both
areas.
have California roots with Florida and
Amen.
maybe apparently I'm going to end up in Texas. Who knows?
Oh,
But
don't do it. Don't do
don't do
it. Don't do
it.
it.
We could talk for hours, but this has been just like such a wonderful conversation and I just feel like some podcasts I do feel like is like a production. And some podcasts I feel like is like we just sat down and we're just chatting
Yeah,
about
amen.
what's going on in the world and y'all get a behind the scenes like ticket or whatever to sit down and laugh with us and kind of like talk. And I would love to have a follow-up conversation in a few months because
Yeah,
this
yeah,
whole
sure, anytime. Yeah, yeah.
thing
Yep.
will be history. Like everything we're talking about now, we're going to be like, oh my gosh, remember
You
when we
remember
said that this was going to
ChatGPT?
happen? And like now we're so far beyond it. Because like I talked about, like they made a whole generation name based on people who went into college without the internet and came out needing to be fluent. And that happened in 4 years. I think AI is going to
Yeah.
exponentially increase that time frame. Like I said, I have a freshman in college. By the time she graduates, I can't even fathom what's going to be
Amen.
happening.
I won't be here, by the way. It'll be a robot. It'll be my
Yeah,
synthesized version.
we'll just set up our AIs to talk to each other by then. But
Amen.
this has been amazing. Thank you so much, Jack. Let people know where they can connect with you, find out more, and follow you
Oh, sure.
with the future of your company as it's growing.
Yeah, yeah. Two things. I'm on LinkedIn, Jack Siney, Siney. If you want to reach out to me, we try to put out kind of whatever we're doing, AI, and help make the overall community smarter. And our company is FrontRace.com, FrontRace.com. And if you go to the upper right-hand part of our website, it says join the race. And as I mentioned earlier, everything we do, we put our money where our mouth is. So if your company is struggling, not sure what to do with AI, we'll come. We'll set up our system and you can see it. You don't have to pay for it. It'll literally make you look super smart for the next couple of months. It's amazing. And so encourage you to, it's the best, most non-threatening thing you could do. You'll be so much smarter. You'll learn more about your company. It really is amazing. So frontrace.com, encourage you to do that. And then you can decide if you want to keep it. So no big deal.
I love it. I love it. I love that.
Appreciate it.
I love that you have a real guy here who is saying we're staying on the cutting edge of AI, but he's not saying we know everything there is to know about it because we hear that way too much. And I give you permission to hit the BS button on anyone who says we know everything there is to know about AI, so follow me. It's just not true right now. So thank you so much, Jack. Thank you all for tuning in. I think that hopefully we've changed some mindsets or expanded some mindsets or given a swift kick in the butt if you're not embracing what needs to be embraced and preparing yourself for what's coming. So with that, I'm going to sign off, but I'm going to tell you, as always, let's go. Thanks for listening to Chasing Impact, Not Sales. If this episode sparked something, share it, subscribe, and remember, real sales come from real service. Keep chasing impact.